Whoa, that's close up. Hey, everybody, this is Dana Shay, and I thought about getting makeup on and getting dressed and getting in a better location and doing this video. And I decided to not do that because today's topic is all about shame and coming out of hiding and being seen for truly who you are. And, over the last several days, I've been doing a lot of research and reading and listening to podcasts on this area of shame. It's actually something that started a couple of weeks ago when Jackie, well, actually, not a couple of weeks ago when Jackie asked me, but Jackie Taylor, who some of you might know, one of my friends, I spoke at a conference that she had, a women's conference, and it was called Out of the Shadows. And so as I began really studying for that talk and putting that talk together, God just began to reveal in my life some areas that were in the shadows. And as I began talking to women that were at the conference, I was just so moved at how often we live in these shadows and how we pretend and how we hide. And so then that kind of opened up this whole revelation of shame. I talked about it a little bit in my talk. Maybe some of you have seen that video. But digging deeper into shame, it's a topic that I think most of us don't like to talk about. It's a topic that some of us probably feel like doesn't really apply to us. Maybe we feel like we don't really have shame in our lives or we're not really affected by it. But I believe that we are all, every single one of us, we have to deal with shame on some level. Now, let me tell you what shame is not. Shame is not a feeling that we've done something wrong. Okay, that would be guilt. That is different. Shame is really deeper than that. It's a feeling that there is something wrong with me. There is something that I'm hiding from. I am not good enough. That's usually what the underlying issue of shame is. I'm not good enough. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not accepted enough. I'm not loved enough. I am not enough. And many of you all are familiar with Brene Brown and some of her teachings. And she's someone that I've been listening to lately. And it's something that I really believe, as I said on my Facebook post earlier today, shame is really the silent killer of relationships. Because when you can't show up in a relationship, you can't truly be who you are. You're afraid of rejection. You're afraid of disappointing someone. You're afraid of being known. And if that is the case, then that is the exact antithesis to intimacy and to true connection and understanding and belonging. And so for me, I look at my relationships and I look at my marriage and my relationship with my children and my close friends and different family members. And all of those relationships bear a little bit of shame in them. And again, it's not because there's anything that has been done wrong per se, but it's, as a mom, sometimes I look at other moms and I'm like, you look at all these videos on Facebook and, every mom has it together. And, gosh, I wish I would have done this different. I wish I would have spent more time with my kids, when they were younger. I wish I would have done this. I wish, right? I'm not good enough. That's the lie that we tend to believe. In your marriage, in my marriage, I can speak for myself. In my marriage, am I pretty enough? Do I still have it? Is my husband still attracted to me? Is, whatever, these thoughts that we think, am I good enough? As a speaker, I know that I've been gifted as a speaker, but there's people who can speak circles around me. There are people who are more educated than I am. There are people who seem to have it together all the time. And so if we are not careful, we will get into this rut of constantly comparing ourselves to other people. I believe that envy and jealousy and pride, all of those at the root of them is shame, because we just do not feel like we are good enough. And so I'm a mentor mom for a group of young moms, and we were having a discussion this week. And I asked one of the girls, because she made a comment. She said, I feel like sometimes there's these other moms and they can, they've got it together. Their houses are clean. Everything looks perfect. And she's like, and sometimes I find myself comparing myself and I'm not good enough. And I said, I can empathize with that, because I'm not telling you that as a young mom I felt that way. I'm telling you that, like, right now, today, I feel that way sometimes. And so I was able to empathize with her. And I said, the thing about it though is, who are we afraid of not being good enough for? Like, who is the perfect person? You know what I mean? Who are the people that we put on these pedestals that we think have it all together? Because the people that a lot of times I think have it all together, when I have conversations with them and they're vulnerable enough to share, I realize they don't have it all together either. They're still questioning, they're still wondering. This happens in the church a lot of times. We idolize these Christian celebrities and these people that we feel like, they've got these awesome prayer lives, they never sin, or if they sin, like they're quick to ask for repentance or for forgiveness. And we put them up on these pedestals. And so we constantly, again, compare ourselves. And I really feel like in the church, a lot of times, we're not vulnerable. It's like vulnerability is this, it's weakness. It's something like denying our faith, to say, I have questions. My kids and I, my older kids and I, we have these conversations about faith all the time. And I'm just not the kind of parent that's going to force my kids to believe what I believe. I believe that, just like God drew me into relationship with him, he is drawing my kids into relationship with him. Now, of course, that doesn't mean that I don't take them to church and teach them the right things to do, but sometimes they have questions and sometimes things are unknown. Faith is not certain. Faith is faith because it's the Bible says it's the substance of things hoped for. So when we try to make faith and what we believe so certain, like we have all the answers and we know, and if you don't believe just like I believe, then there's something wrong with you. That's shame. I am vulnerable in my prayers. I go to God and I say, God, I really don't know. I was reading such and such in the Bible and that doesn't make sense to me. Or I don't agree with that. And I know that your word is true, but I need help with believing that. That's vulnerability. And, it's my prayer in my life for the people that I do life with, my friends, my family, the people that I do life with. I want to make a commitment to show up in those relationships, to show up and to be seen and not to hide, because that's what shame does. Shame makes us hide. It classic. If you look back in the Bible, the very first book of the Bible, in the book of Genesis, when Adam and Eve sinned, what's the first thing they did? They hid. They hid from God. And that's what shame causes us to do. So whether you're physically hiding, most of us are probably not physically hiding. Most of us are probably emotionally hiding in your marriages. And the closest relationships to you, are you truly being open? Are you truly being vulnerable? Are you truly allowing people to see you for who you really are, not for who you pretend to be? I'll close with this. I have this analogy that I use a lot. In my house, we've been blessed to have, a great house, and our house has many rooms. And, there are people that I'm in relationship with that have certain levels of access to certain rooms of my house. So my neighbors, people that come in to do work on the house, they have access to like the downstairs. Okay. They can come in, you can come sit in my kitchen. We can sit and chat in my living room. But you're not going upstairs. Okay. It's not because there's anything wrong with you. It's just because you have not earned that level of intimacy in my life where you can be going upstairs. Okay. Now there are other people who do go upstairs. We lead a small group, our small group members, we say our house is your house. You can go upstairs. They can come upstairs, but they're not going to come in my bedroom, right? There are other people who have access to my bedroom. That would be my husband. That would be my close friends, like one or two of them, that they can come in my bedroom. They can go in my closet and see how junky it is in there. They can go in my bathroom. So there are different levels of access that people have. But what shame does, shame says everyone's staying downstairs. No one is coming up, and certainly not into my bedroom and in my bathroom, but not even upstairs, because I'm going to put on this front. I'm going to act like I've got it all together. I'm going to act like my house is clean all the time when I know good and well it's not. How many of y'all have like the stuff that you throw in the closet when people come over, the stuff that's stored in the drawers? Every single time our small group folks come over here, I have a prayer and I'm like, Lord, please don't let them go and open those drawers in my island, because they will be in for a rude awakening. Okay. That's just the truth. But that's how we all are. So my desire as I live this life is that I am open and vulnerable. It's that I walk out of the shadows of shame on a daily basis, because it's not like a decision that you make and you just make that one decision. It's a daily decision. It's showing up every day in your relationships and saying, I refuse to be hidden. I'm going to put myself out there. I'm going to live open in the wide open spaces of love. And when you do that, you give people permission to hurt you. You do. It's called vulnerability. It's because there's no guarantee. If I open myself up to you and say, hey, I really think you're cool. I really want to get to know you. I'm allowing that person to say to me, I don't think you're cool. I really don't have time to get to know you. When I have a problem in my relationships and I choose to be passive aggressive and act like there's nothing wrong and act like, I've got this, nobody's going to hurt me, whatever, it's not a big deal. That's not vulnerable. That's allowing shame to make me hide. But when I say, you know what, I'm going to be vulnerable and let you know that what you said or what you did, that really wounded me, that really hurt me. And I'm hoping that you didn't mean to do that. But because I love you and because I love us, I'm willing to say that hurt. And I hope that we can move past that. That's not hiding. That's where we're supposed to live. And really at the end of all of that is freedom. It's freedom in our relationships. It's freedom to be ourselves. It's freedom to be okay with not being perfect. And so look for more videos like this to come. Whenever I'm studying something, it's like, I got to get it out. I got to get it out. And God was like, no, don't do a video. This was like a few days ago. Don't do a video. Don't write a blog post. I just want to teach you something. And I want you, Dana, to know in your heart, this is where I'm kind of fixing you. These are some areas that I want to fix in you. And as I live this out, then I do want to share, because my heart's desire is that we walk in whole relationships with each other. So thanks so much for watching. Of course, I always welcome your comments and feedback. You can always follow me on my blog at danashay.com/blog. I have not written on it in about a year, so I'm just being honest. But you can go up there and look at some great articles that I have written in the past, or follow me anywhere that you are on social media. I'll see you guys. Bye.